So I want to share how I conduct my wireless surveys for certain sites that I've worked with, basically contracting work for. And I feel like it benefits me. It makes it easier for me to do my job the way I've structured it and everything. So I have 5 ways that I've conducted everything when it comes to doing my wireless survey. So the first one, getting feedback from employees and managers, getting a feel of the site and the layout of the overall wireless network, using the right equipment, creating a detailed survey report, and then having my recommendations at the end of it. So the first one, getting feedback from my employees or from the employees and managers. So I don't really go for the people that work in the office. If there's an office setting and everything, they don't know what's going on because 9 times out of 10 their computers are connected, hardwired in, right? They're using Ethernet cable. So what I do, I go straight out to the warehouse. Usually that's where I work in, that's my setting. I go to the warehouse and I actually talk to the employees and the managers themselves, the ones that actually are using the devices that are connected to the wireless network. And I ask for their feedback to let me know in person what's really going on, because sometimes it can change down the pipeline. I get an email and they say, oh, this is going on. But then when I get to the site, they're telling me something totally different, right? So I like to have firsthand from, coming from coming from the cow's mouth or something like that. I forgot the saying, but anyway, coming from them, I would like to know what's really going on. So they'll tell me like, hey, yeah, in this certain area it's been dropping, or yeah, this the device, I don't know, 2 or 3 of the devices, they'll just drop off the network and I have to reboot it or restart it or whatever. But the other ones, like the brand new ones, there you go, see? Then that's, you start picking out stuff. Like in that example, they telling me that 3 of the devices out of the 10 devices are dropping, but then when I find out that those 3 devices are the old models compared to the new models that are not dropping and they're working splendidly, right? That tells me something. So I get feedback from the managers as well, because they not 8 times out of 10 they'll be using the equipment as well, because they probably helping the employees trying to catch up with their shipments and everything. And they'll tell me sometimes a little bit more than from what the employees tell me and everything. So that gives me a feel of what I should expect when I do the wireless survey itself. Next, when I go through all that, I go through the site itself. So I walk around, see different areas. I'm like, okay, I'm at a General Motors warehouse, right? We're gonna be dealing with metal and aluminum or whatever, because they have engines, mufflers, catalytic converters, all this stuff that make a car, right? So I know from my experience that Wi-Fi signals can be affected by certain material, right? So wood, not really a problem. It'll go through wood. Water, it'll be diffracted and deflected, but it'll still go through. But like with metal, it reflects, right? So like Wi-Fi signal reflects off of metal. So that could be a problem as well. Maybe the access point is too close, too low to some of the equipment. Maybe just because the AP being in an area where there's a lot of metal, that's why the signal is dropping, right? So that's another thing that I point out just by walking around. Also, on top of that, I ask the site for, hey, what do y'all have the infrastructure, the IT infrastructure, the setup of how it was all laid out? If so, do you have a diagram of how it was set up, or an email or something that you got from the vendor that explained everything, how everything was set up, how everything was put up and everything? So that's one thing that I'll ask to make my life easier when it comes to doing a survey. And what else I do? So I ask the employees, I get a feel of the site, walk around, ask for the IT infrastructure. Yeah, that's mostly what in that step, that's why I do. It makes it easier for me because I don't have to. Sometimes I can tell the problem right off the bat just by looking around, or just by getting feedback from the employees. Hey, if you said 3 of the 10 devices is working and 3 of the devices are old models, maybe you have to get rid of those and just continue using the new models. You know what I'm saying? So the third one, using the right equipment. So I say this because I feel like some people think that you can just use your laptop or your cell phone or your iPad or whatever to scan the network to get a better feel of the signal and all this, signal to the noise, signal strength, health, network issues. Now, you have to have a Wi-Fi card that can actually bring in the Wi-Fi signal, right? Just bring it in and scan it itself and see how strong, get your different pain points, right? Your different points throughout the wireless survey. So the equipment I use Ekahau AI Pro application along with the Ekahau Sidekick. Really great too, and I'm nowhere sponsored by them. I just really believe in their product and it's really good to have. when conducting, especially when you like doing surveys for like warehouses that the size of like 4 or 5 football fields. My most recent one, I was at a Lowe's warehouse and it was 1.2 million square feet. And imagining doing a scan in that one, I had to have a golf cart. Well, no, I didn't have a golf cart. I had to bicycle my way around in order for me to do the scan. But that's another story for another time. But that equipment to me, is flawless. Like, it has everything that you need. You're able to do one-click reporting, and you can choose what categories you want to show within your report. You're able to do your notes all in one, and you're able to customize your own templates. That's what I've done with some of my reports that I've generated. I generated my own little template. So if a customer want to show a certain thing, like not a certain thing, but a certain category, I have a template for that, right? So yeah, what I do, I hook up the Sidekick, right? Hook it with it's a USB to micro USB connection connected to my laptop. Not this one, I have a work laptop that I use to do it. And while the Ekahau AI application is open, I plug it in, it reads it, it says, "Ho, there you go. There's the Sidekick," it reads it, and then it automatically starts scanning the 2.4, the 5, and the 6 gigahertz range. But usually I don't scan the 6 gigahertz range because the devices they use, they only go up to Wi-Fi 5. So I don't even deal with scanning Wi-Fi 6. So yeah, I just take my laptop or I have my iPad and I walk around and I scan the environment. I usually start in places that I think that are bad, and from what I got from the feedback that I got from the employees, I start there first just to see how everything is going. Just to see if it proves my theory and proves their observation of what they think going on, right? Just by, using it and working with it. And then sometimes so there's certain features. So there's a survey feature, and then another feature I love is a live feature, which it scans the area in real time. So as I'm walking, I can see the signal to noise ratio as it fluctuates throughout the warehouse. And I can see like, oh, well, I see a lot of red. It's a lot of noise in this area. Maybe we, have to look into that area. And then it also has a way to point out the access points in that area. So I can be like on the map, I'm like, oh, is bad signal here. I can press onto that access point and it'll tell me all the information about that Aruba AP or the Cisco AP or whatever AP they are using at the time, and it'll give me all the information, the MAC addresses is being using, the SSIDs is using, the type of bands is on the 2.4 to 5 gigahertz or even 6, right? So yeah, having right equipment to do the survey is key to doing a good wireless survey. And then after that, I create a detailed report. So the Ekahau application, it does a good report. Don't get me wrong, like the way it generates reports is flawless, but I still find a time to sit down and do my own type of report. So I have a template that I made out on Word that I sit down and I elaborate more on the findings that I found using the AI Pro application. So basically, I had the AI Pro reporting reports. That's for like show, right? And to explain to them the different categories, right? It has a good way of giving you the definition of data rate, throughput, channel strength, channel interference. It gives you a good, definition, graphical visualization of the actual floor plan and the path that I took to scan the whole warehouse. And also it gives you like a legend where, okay, if it's green here, it's good, but as you go up, it gets from yellow, orange, and red, saying that, oh, hey, may have to look at this area a little bit more, right? But yeah, it gives me all that, but I like to also complement that with a detailed report that I type up so I can elaborate more and giving greater detail on what I've done, the methodologies I've used to get the results that I found, right? Or to get the results I got. And then lastly, recommendations. So after all this stuff, after talking to people, after sitting there, doing the survey, setting everything up, walking around, my legs down there half numb, right? I sit down with the managers at the site that runs the site, and I explain to them, hey, this is what I found. So I show them the report, read the report to them. They all have a copy of it, or I'll send it, through email to them, and I'll tell them, okay, these are my recommendations of from what I found, the results I found. So I tell them, maybe you need to do some updates. Maybe you need to change the equipment. Maybe you need to update the equipment altogether. Maybe you need to place your AP somewhere. Something that would help them have better Wi-Fi in order to increase productivity and not stop the supply chain, right? Because you don't want to do that. I mean, one site I've been to, it was in Laredo, Texas, and literally I was in there trying to fix a problem. Well, I was trying to install another access point within the office, right? And come to find out, I go in the closet and it's like a bird's nest in there. I mean, like bird nest times 10 in that mug, right? And then I was taking out old wires that were in the patch panel that were not even connected to anything. And as I was taking it, the one of them I took out, the whole network went down for 5 minutes, but I didn't hear no panic or nothing. Come to find out, they were having that. It wasn't even an issue to them. They thought it was a normal thing that the network goes down for 5 minutes. Oh, it's another thing. Don't worry about it. And I was telling them like that's a problem because you don't know, like you're losing money for that company every single second, every single minute, depending how much they push out. You're losing money regardless. 5 minutes could be from $5,000 to $5 million. You never know, right? So yeah, like that's like I said, that's another story for another time. Oh, don't get me started with that one. But yeah, like sharing my recommendations, letting people know like, hey, this is what I found, this is how I did it, right? And the way I did it, that's how I came up with these findings, right? And then from these findings, I recommend you to do this. And I'm hoping that what I provide for you, your productivity go up, your workflow gets better, right? Your supply chain don't stop, and guess what? You're making more money. So yeah, that's how I conduct wireless surveys, and I hope you found this helpful. I really do. Took me a while to lay this out because when I started, I was just okay, go scan. Then I was like, okay, there's more to this than that. Going through trainings and just sitting down and actually playing around with the equipment that I use and just coming up with different ways to make my own framework. This is my framework that I use, and also I have my own. I can share a link to the template down in the description below if you want to. You can use it to benefit you. I have 2 versions. So the one I use, it's like half of it. So like one is a half one. The reason why I split, I got a whole one and a half one is because I use Ekahau AI Pro, which generates a report for me. So some of the stuff that is generated by that, it kind of covers, I would say 50% of my report. Everything else I do manually myself. I can literally give them a report and bam, bam, boom, that's it, right? But like I said, I like to be thorough. I like to sit down and actually look at what I'm doing and actually think about like, hey, take the time to explain to them what I have done and what I've taken to try to help them out, and basically the steps that I've used to help them out so they don't have to worry about this stuff no more. Listen, bro, I done been in sites where this thing go down and everybody start panicking and freaking out like it's the end of the world, And like I said, Laredo, Texas, opposite of that. The network go down and they just chill. And I'm like, no. I mean, I don't want you to be jumping off out of windows and stuff, but still you need to be kind of worried about what's going on, So yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. Subscribe to the channel, like it, tell me your thoughts on it. Please leave a comment and let me know if it's been helpful. Let me know if you can, if you add anything I can add on to this survey or whatever. Your experiences as well, let me know. And until next time, peace.